medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello and welcome to Mercy TV, your source for news and information on the cannabis issue as it unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Greetings, my name is Perry, and along with PK, we'll be hosting this segment of Mercy TV. Tonight we have some special guests, a couple of activists from the Eugene area, Dank the Bagman and Blue Whale.
You bet.
We'll talk more about what's happening around the state, but first we want to remind folks that Mercy TV is an action item of Mercy, the Medical Cannabis Resource Center. Find out more about us by visiting our website, mercycenters.org, or give us a call at 503-363-4588. Mercy is a live call-in show, so please give us a call with your cannabis-related question, comment, curse, or kudo. Yep.
And that's 503-588-6444. Please call.
Excellent. And of course, we want to remind folks that you can always come down and be in our studio audience. I have a couple folks. Hey, thanks. Thanks for showing up. And that's Fridays at 7 p.m. here. So, Dank?
Yeah.
What?
You forgot about the people in the hospital. We wish you the best.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your doctor about using cannabis. You don't have to smoke it. There's oils and other edibles.
Right.
You
know, and this comes about from one of the top things we hear from patients coming back from trying to speak with their doctor about cannabis. And the typical response, it used to be, was that, well, we don't know much about smoke medications. And so,
Yeah.
you know, that's what we do here at Mercy Center, informing, educating, and hopefully activating folks on the issue, even if it is just get your card and stay with the program and help others to get with and stay with the program.
Yes.
And don't forget Parents for Pot. They help out families in crisis situation. And they're a nonprofit also.
Use that again?
Parents for Pot.
Okay.
Folks can find out more at parentsforpot.org.
Aaron?
We have a link off our website, too. Yeah.
Was that Aaron something, or is there somebody else? Well, it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's some local folks, but they've also gone national, really. So
Today on The View, Megyn Kelly, Megyn Kelly on
yeah, what's the outfit she's with?
NBC,
You're right.
anyway.
Her show.
Her show had a segment on medical marijuana. It had 4 doctors from Portland, 4 family doctors from Portland. They're from the same family, a mother, father, and 2 daughters.
Oh,
and they have a clinic in Portland, and they talked about it, the whole segment on medical marijuana and the benefits and why they being with the medibles that they don't have to inhale that kind of thing.
Good.
And talked about extracts. It was a very good presentation and great, and you know, on national TV, we need all that kind of information we can get.
Yeah, for certain. I saw an article in the Oregonian recently, and it was out of OMSI there, the docs up there, and they were putting out some education for the doctors there, and I was kind of excited at first, but then as I read into the article, it was more about terminology, you know, what is this, what does it mean, and so forth, and not really about how it helps, dosage, titration, anything else, you know, much less that medibles and such.
Read us something.
So is this is on national TV?
Yes.
And what was the name of the show again?
NBC, and it was Megan Fox. Megan Fox, forget exactly what they call Megan. I don't know what they call
Megyn
the
Kelly
show.
she used to be on
Megan
Fox,
Kelly.
yeah.
I mean, she used to be on Fox. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that
Megan
would.
Kelly used to be on Fox.
That's what.
And it was and it was on today. I don't remember the exact name of her show, but it was NBC.
But it's 8
I'm
o'clock.
sure you find it on YouTube, I bet.
I think it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we can use all the discussion in the mainstream media. I just hope they get the facts right and the topic right too. As I was saying, that there's been a real dearth of folks talking about how it's medicine. I'm kind of disappointed even in where you'd think we'd get some support on, like, Trevor Noah. It's kind of nitpicky, but you know, he was talking about it, and he was kind of saying like, "Yeah, glaucoma people are feeling much better now," and so forth. And he's like, you know, all the things to talk about what cannabis does. Talk about the cancer. Talk about spasticity.
Yes.
Talk about the nausea. You know, talk about
Yes.
having people having a life, a quality of life because of it, and not, you know, jokes about how you know,
Right.
this or that. And so
That goes. Go ahead.
I was going to say, talking about doctors, I always like to get this word out as much as possible. When you talk to a doctor, don't ask them, will you prescribe marijuana? Because they're not prescribing. That's the whole thing about the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program. They can't prescribe a federally restricted item. So the state of Oregon is set up so that all the doctor does is verify that you have a medical condition.
right,
that
the
will
qualifying
allow you,
condition.
Qualifying condition. And so that's all the doctor's doing is
In Oregon, right,
in Oregon, and I don't know the numbers, but there's hundreds and thousands of doctors and papers have been signed. Nobody's gone to jail. Now, I had my personal experience. I finally got my card recently. My general practitioner wouldn't sign it.
Right.
And I said, well, is that you or the clinic? And she said, well, no, the clinic hasn't a problem with it. We have other doctors that do, but I don't. And I said, and I expressed my displeasure, and she said, well, I guess we have to agree to disagree. Well, luckily, lucky or unluckily, I have another doctor, my specialist.
Right.
And so I went to my oncologist, and I talked to him, or rather, the nurse, and this was great. I went on that blood draw day,
Right.
and so it didn't cost me anything for the visit.
Right.
I went up to the desk and I said, "Do you think the doctor would sign my papers?" And she said, "Oh, I don't think that'd be a problem." And reached out and pulled out the blank form out of the file. You know, so she had the blank form on file. You know, so that's a good sign.
Oh, sure, one of these.
That's a good sign.
Wow,
so
yeah.
they signed it, or he signed it, and being a veteran, my card was $20. And
Cool.
so at that point, I'm only $20 in this whole process. Then I got nailed for the $200 grower fee because I'm having growing it somewhere else.
Right.
Well,
There you
a
go.
friend of mine, where it's going to be grown, and my caretaker said, no problem. They gave me the $200 back again.
Oh, beautiful.
So I got $20 in my card. So.
Good. Talking about medical, what I just experienced with medical cases, I got a lady friend in Portland who doctors can't diagnose because she has pain all over. It sounds like fibromyalgia or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah, some real neuropathic.
Yeah, and she was up in Eugene at my house, and I had some ganja gummy candy that someone gave me.
Right.
And I had it in the refrigerator, I just hadn't used it. You know, and I gave the bag to her, and the next time I saw her, she said she was pain-free for 2.5 days. I mean, I'm not making this up, this is what I got from her. And I said, I educate people.
Right.
This is what I need. I've known another friend who has migraines. She smokes a headband,
One toke
at night, and she doesn't wake up with migraines.
Headband being a strain of cannabis.
Right, that's a cannabis
Doesn't
oil.
have a headband of hemp or something.
No, it's in a vapor pen, and the cannabis oil in a vapor pen.
Oh, excellent.
I love hearing these stories because I'm hearing this, and then there was the case of the family in Michigan, and a little girl, 8, 9 years old, was having 1,000 seizures a month, and nothing worked for her. And then someone told her mom about cannabis oil on the tongue. She got somewhere in Michigan, of all places, she got some cannabis oil. She put it on her little girl's tongue, and the little girl laid down on the carpet with no seizures. She's down to a few a week, just a few a week, but it calms her right out, that drop on the tongue. She'll lay down with no seizures. Well, the little girl went to school and told her teacher, and her teacher called the cops.
Yeah.
And so the cops came to their house and said, we want your oil, or we're going to put you in jail. And the parents go, this stuff works. We can't let her die when we know something works. They moved to Colorado.
All right.
where they have access to it, and the little girl is doing great. She has a few seizures a week, and it basically saved her life.
Right. And this is the Charlotte's Web, isn't it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. You know,
Charlotte was the little girl.
Right.
I think, believe that.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Fantastic, you know.
That's a fantastic story.
And we hope that more of these stories get out, because there's no small number of these refugee families, you know, just like there are prison families, folks who have a loved one incarcerated,
right,
you know, for doing pretty much the same thing these folks are doing today. You
yes.
know? Still, there's a group up in Washington State just got done being prosecuted, you know, even now during the law, and I'm sure we're going to see more of it with the current administration and their belief system on cannabis, which is medieval to say the least. You know, you thought that we had it bad under previous regimes like Bush and others.
Yes, like Vision 91 passed. People said, "What are you going to do now? It's legal. It's all over. You won."
Well, and in point of fact, it's not legal, really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my point.
That's what we have been going to we went to the Joint Committee on Smoking Lounges.
Right.
Here
Okay.
in Salem, yeah.
Yeah, in Salem.
I filmed that.
Yes.
Cool.
And I felt it was stacked.
Oh yeah.
It's stacked against us with Andy Olson, ex-cop, and all. But yet Senator Ferroni, who was kind of leading up the joint panel,
Right.
he did say that because you can't smoke inside a building because of the Clean Air Act. But he said if you put up a building adjacent to where you're at with 3 walls and a roof and I'm sure a door, you could smoke out there. He would have no problem with it.
Allowing open air, huh?
Yeah, it's just a separate building from inside your regular building.
Right.
So I thought that was real interesting.
Right.
But incidentally, that Andy Olson is retiring from Albany. We should all
The
cheer
sooner
for
the
that.
better on that. Yeah.
Yes, that guy. He's a.
Read us to say something.
I don't have words for him, but
Right.
Well, that whole panel.
Well, yeah, my classic view of Andy was when we were trying to get PTSD added to the qualifying conditions. And after testimony that before himself and others, where veteran after veteran told stories of how various things they were trying to self-medicate with,
Right.
like alcohol, was simply killing them worse than anything else. He had the gall to stand up when they were voting on it and say, "Hey, you guys, just get a bottle of Jack Daniels. You don't need this action." I'm like, "Oh my God!"
he actually
did
said
not
that.
listen to these people.
He actually said that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
remember
retired.
that, you know. So yeah, these people absolutely refuse to connect when they should. They have no excuse there on that. Yeah, Reed.
This is voting your folks. And I think this is a good time to talk about voting. Because this
Right
is
on,
a gentleman
yeah.
that's standing up for our rights. You're speaking of this, Senator?
Right. Well, we're coming up on a very critical election time, and I think it's critical to note how much the cannabis issue connects the other issues together, you know, and some of the more interesting statements out of the current regime lead me to believe that they're going to look at this in the same way that Nixon looked at it. It's a great tool for suppressing certain groups.
Yes.
You know, we can't get the potheads because they're potheads, but we can say that they're doing this, you know. And I mean, you've seen it throughout history. Every single time, you know, something happens and the potheads are somehow connected with a terrorist attack. Like 3 days after that was a commercial about how potheads are responsible because drug dealers are using terrorists and blah, blah, blah.
And the
stuff,
Taliban.
You know? During the years of communism, like communists are using the pot, it's a commie tool and nonsense like that, you know, and so forth. So,
we're talking about voting. I always wanted to remind people that the state of Oregon, felons can vote.
Yep.
And that it always amazed me how little that is known, it seems, because I'm constantly finding people that don't know that.
Right.
So we got to keep educating. I like to say that the majority of the felons I know got screwed badly, and they really need to have a voice. So you can do that in Oregon. And the
Right
other
on,
thing
yeah.
is, it's really important to vote. And anybody that says, well, and I've heard it for years, working tables, gathering signatures
Right.
for petitions. I don't participate. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It won't
Well,
count. You know.
not
la,
long
la.
ago, I think it was one of the Virginia states, they had an election that was won by one vote. Do you remember that? That wasn't long ago.
Yeah.
It was a major election,
Yeah.
and they won
Yeah.
by one vote. So there's your proof, you know. I like to say,
Well, look at our current situation. For
yeah,
God's
well,
sakes.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. I'd like to say, okay, you don't think voting helps? Well, okay, look at the people that are voting and look what they've done to us. Now, do you see maybe we need some help to get
Exactly.
things turned around?
Yes.
So I'm telling people, and I have my favorite baseball cap that I wear around home is my Dump Trump hat. And I've got a lot of feedback as I go in the public, and I've never gotten anything negative. And it's always been, I say positive against Trump, the liar in chief. But,
Well, for positive things, which is he's
yeah,
against. So.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is, I tell you, get in your family and friends. I'm telling everybody out there.
Right on.
Please listen. Get into your circles of family and friends, and please get people to register and vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't
Only
second
20
that enough.
Only
Right on.
25% of eligible voters voted in the last presidential election. Is what I saw somewhere. 25%. So look what people.
Right on.
We've got to get together and get it out.
Well, we tell the people, go and make contact with your representative.
You want to vote
go
smart.
and visit them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And make appointments. And
Right.
Every
don't be
official,
afraid.
from the federal representatives to your state, to your county commissioners, to your city officials, to your local neighborhood groups, all the way to the dog catcher, to the guy that checks the little water meters. He doesn't get paid anything, but someday he's going to be up there. And
Yes.
You want folks that are progressive, that don't want to waste money, that don't want to waste people, that
Yeah.
don't want these boondoggles that happening, that just suck the life force out of the people.
Yes.
And support the people that are supporting moves like
Right,
this.
you know.
Like Mercy. Mercy's got the Global Marijuana March coming up May 5th.
Right on, yeah.
And I'll be there. I hope everybody on this show is viewing this show will be there, and your friends and family.
Right on. Saturday, 11 a.m., we gather at the intersection of Summer and Center Streets. So be there.
That's right. I mean,
And be square.
how great is that to have a Global Marijuana March on the Capitol, in view of the capital of the state of Oregon?
And if you're 18, go register and vote.
Definitely.
Well, and
Yes.
vote and get everybody you know, and then
Yeah.
get everybody
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
And as we said, vote smart. So contact a representative. PK has been down to the Capitol, interviewed not just his representative, but everybody that he could make contact with. He gave him a copy of the Cannabis Connection, and this is something we can't talk about enough and help people to
I love it.
get out there and get it.
Love it.
But PK goes down and speaks with his representative, also encourages folks to send him emails, make the phone call, but other ways that you can, speak out, let people know about the issues that they should register and vote into, is times and places like the March where we have signage out there. And letters to the editor, call-ins to radio shows, visiting these online forums and leaving the comments there and so forth. Emailing,
Yes.
Again, not just your representatives, but your local media folks. And of course now there's the social media
Right.
avenues.
Right.
But that's also not to encourage, but to encourage them how, why, and who for. Contact a representative. You get the bad ones, say, look for that. But you find the good ones, you
Yes.
talk them up, and even support their campaigns. Get there and work and do that
Yes.
on it. And when folks have these local initiatives, gather those petitions in that registered voters.
Yes.
And educate. Again,
Absolutely.
you got to get out there, get yourself out there, get everybody you know, get everybody you don't know. Time to break down those barriers and act together.
I'm a member of the Green Party, but I didn't know during the presidential elections until I went to a meeting at the Wow Hall in Eugene that I had to re-register as a Democrat to vote in the election.
Right.
And they did that to Bernie Sanders in New York. There was 3 million voters that didn't know they had to change their affiliation.
Right, to vote in that primary, yeah.
And he only lost by 300,000 votes in New York, so he would have won. And the same thing with Wisconsin. Crooked Hillary paid the DNC off, and they pushed Bernie out. And as far as I'm concerned, Bernie's my president.
Right, yeah.
When I hear him screaming in the Senate, that's my president. I tell people that's my president speaking.
Right.
You know, not that fool that's up there now.
Right.
You know. No.
Yeah.
No, that's no. I didn't vote for that guy, and I had nothing to do with him.
Folks like to have fantasies about what if, and if everybody had at some point instead just written in Bernie. You know, we got a write-in Bernie campaign.
Yes.
What could have happened? You know.
Yes.
But oh well. 2018, folks, and then set up for the 2020, and
Yeah, it's coming up.
hopefully we won't have to worry about it. If we do a good job in 2018. Things like
Yes.
the laws will apply. We won't have to worry about it in 2020.
Well, they're
but
talking
hey,
about
it's
going back to since our elections got meddled in, going back to paper tabs. You know, as a way to avoid the computer
Remember John Walsh?
messing.
He advocated this. Do you remember? I used to,
years, man. He was
yeah.
a
I used to get
trooper,
so mad at him
champion
when he
on it,
started
too.
talking that. I get so mad at him. He said, "We need to vote Republican. We need to vote Republican." Because that way we got to get things so bad that people, because he was always aggravated because people wouldn't get organized and fight and get things fixed. And so he said, we need more, get the vote Republican. And he swore he was going to vote Republican. And so get Republicans in, and then things will get so bad that people rise up, and then we'll get stuff fixed. Well,
Okay.
when he first passed away, I thought to myself, geez, I'm really glad John didn't live to see
this.
And then later I got to thinking about it, and I thought, well, no, actually, it's just the opposite. I wish he had lived to see this, because he foresaw this.
The prophets
Yes.
of our generation there. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is John Walsh, the guy that gathered more signatures on medical marijuana initiatives or cannabis initiatives in the state of Oregon than anybody, hands down, literally. And he was a hero.
Great man.
But when we put get our acts collectively together, we are a true force. When we put forth the OMA and the referendum, we registered more voters that year than all the other parties combined. We were the biggest register of voter power then. When it came to the Attorney General, Ellen Rosenblum, versus the drug warrior.
we have a call.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Call in, come free.
I think we lost him.
Oh, well. Try again.
Please.
So, when that contest, we smacked him down by 67%. He ran on us as I am and paid the penalty. And nobody after that really, tried to say they were, was not as proud to be a prohibitionist after that. So.
Well, that's what Bernie was running on. He would mention that in his speeches.
See, yeah, the only one. I might
Yes,
say,
he's the only one that did that.
Might point that to the Democratic Party and them, but who knows?
Yeah. And then it's at this point we had Governor Christie in New Jersey.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Feedback.
Are we just is this what they call that echo chamber?
It's a new phone system.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, caller.
Yeah, I heard about a march that you're going to have.
Yes, the Global Marijuana Marches. It's an international event. It happens in hundreds of cities around the world: Berlin, Paris, London, New York, Los Angeles. Even the big towns like Salem, Portland will be having marches. Ours is happening. We have it it happens the first Saturday in May, which is May 5th this year, I believe. It'll be Saturday. We'll gather at the intersection of Summer and Center Streets in downtown Salem at 11 a.m.
All right.
We'll go for a couple of hours maybe and see what happens.
everybody can come?
Yes.
Oh, definitely. It's family friendly.
Yes.
You bet. It's just simply a rally of support for
Right.
the cannabis plant and the whole culture, freedom, basically.
Right on. We'll be handing out newsletters. We'll have
The
some voter
Cannabis
registration.
Connection.
Folks will be driving by and honking their support on a regular basis. Be lots of fun.
And you are
All right.
will these speakers there? Do you have anybody speaking? Do you have
We don't have
PA?
any planned, but
Okay.
folks can
You
get up there. I'll get
you
up
know,
there
address the assembled crowd, such as they are. So.
I could bring a PA if you have a speaker thing.
I have microphones,
Okay, well, we don't really have a setup for it.
and I have a PAs too.
Yeah, caller, would you like to speak? We had an event with speakers. Would that interest you?
So that would be a time for people to get together.
Right.
It definitely
speak
would
out,
be,
so-
and
I think that's very
yeah,
important.
definitely a brotherhood type of thing. Definitely, and if we had a PA, would you feel? How about being a speaker? Would that be interest you? I'm just curious.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you
Okay.
bet.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
You bet.
I
Thank
sure
you.
appreciate what you guys are doing.
Oh, thank
All
you.
right.
And you
Thank-
too, buddy.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
see
you.
All
you
right.
there.
All right. Well, thank
Tell
you.
your friends. Tell your
Thank you.
enemies.
Yeah, right.
Thanks.
We'll do that.
Okay.
All of our neighbors.
You bet.
Tell the neighbors.
Thank you.
MercyCenters.org for more information.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Bye now.
I wanted
All right.
to finish what I was saying. That the new governor in New Jersey
Right.
ran on a cannabis ticket, where Christie was so
Anti,
against it.
yeah.
This guy ran on a cannabis ticket
pro-cannabis
and
ticket,
won.
yeah.
He wants legalization across the state.
Right on.
And my sister, my family's in New Jersey. She voted for him. Now she hates him.
Right.
She found out what he was standing for.
Oh, all the nonsense, yeah.
They don't want it there.
Every little thing, like when he closed off the beach to everybody else. I mean, my God.
And he went to the beach. Him and his family went to
Yeah.
the beach. And he goes,
Royal members
yeah,
of the
Christie,
family.
if you're the governor, you can go to the beach too.
Right on.
You know, what a pompous fat fool. So,
Yeah.
Grinch, all combined there. So,
But, yeah, they got a governor
Yeah,
now.
you know, like we were saying, that's a good litmus test. You know, folks talk about, well, what about this? He's not that on that issue. Well, vote on the cannabis issue. You can't go wrong. You know.
yes,
Don't
yes.
listen. Don't worry about how that. No, and you can't. It's yes or no. You know,
Right.
well, maybe we got to study, and that guy's out. you
No,
know, or
that-
it's evil. It's going to get your children, and that guy's out.
That
you
went
know,
out
but
with
hey,
the white bucks.
We got to look at this cannabis is something. We want to check it
Yeah,
out.
oh,
We-
it's
we
caught
want
on.
studies,
I see good things for it. Even though we went to the Cannabis Commission meeting in Portland,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking for a cop to be on the Cannabis Commission,
Mm-hmm.
it's stacked too. It's also stacked. I didn't hear a grower or a patient that the governor wanted on there. I didn't hear any of
What a
that.
surprise.
We do have Anthony Taylor. So.
Anthony Taylor, yes, he's on there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll keep it all followed. So stay tuned here on Mercy TV for this and more. Guys, thanks for coming out.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
We'll talk to you
Enjoyed
next
it.
time. PK,
Thank
Right
you,
on.
folks.
bye now.
Have a good life.
He said.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.